love Mondays so much. Good gravy. It's interesting to be shifting like this with myself and the way that it feels with faith versus the way that it felt when I didn't have that. You know, I remember going through things before and sort of like trying like heck to convince myself that it was going to be okay. And the way that that felt versus now knowing once I know it's okay, it gets to be okay. Me hearing the idea gets to be the nugget that I'm able to chew on if I'm so willing, if I'm so bold, if I have so much trust and faith. Try that. You know, that's how it feels now. Before it would be like, oh my God, no. That just feels too hard, too scary. And it's something, again, it's kind of like eating food that feels good in your body versus eating food that looks just the same and it just doesn't feel good in your body. I was thinking this morning about playing like Mario Kart, and imagine playing Mario Kart with a blindfold on. You know, imagine trying to get around that course without being able to see. And I feel like that's what life is like before we practice using our intuition, before we practice accepting and allowing our spiritual self to be a part of our life. You know, whether we call it our spiritual self or our energetic self or our God self or our invisible self, that's the part of us that's manifesting the most for our body self. So it definitely matters, you know, the same way that just these tiny little eyeballs can make a huge difference while driving around a racetrack, whether you're playing Mario Kart or in real life. And I kind of think about our human experience. I'm 47, so it's not the same. Like my children, they're going to know sooner than me. Your children will know sooner than you. But for me, it felt like years I was sort of just navigating with my eyes closed, and it seemed like they were open, you know, but once I was able to sort of wipe out and realize, oh shit, something's not right. It was then that I was able to see that my eyes weren't open at all. You know, my eyes were open to destruction and fear and taking. You know, my eyes could see things not working out. My eyes could see the game rigged against me. You know, that's what it felt like. It felt like I was just set up and I was never going to make it to any point higher than meh. So there wasn't really much to reach for. Like, I didn't feel encouraged to reach for a higher feeling or a higher experience or more love or more health or more ease, because I didn't even know it was there. I felt like I had already found it. You know, by the time I hit my breaking point, I was like 36 or 35, 37. I thought I knew what we were doing here. You know, like I felt like I knew. I had already done the things that society said was going to be the thing that I wanted to do, and that shit sucked. Like, sure, there were some parts that were cool, but most of it sucked. You know, and it wasn't until I learned that it sucked because I was just looking at it upside down for so long. I didn't see that this could turn into something lovely and this could turn into something lovely. It just can't if the dirt is rancid and soiled and not healthy, you know, and my thoughts were the dirt. You know, we are so complex as humans. And I know for me, I thought that it was nothing complex at all about us. I thought we were like bugs. We're born into this world and we may or may not get stepped on. Do I like younger men? If you're saying younger as in late 30s, sometimes they just tend to still act late 20s, and it just doesn't last very long. However, I've also found that men my age act nearly 70, and that also doesn't last very long. So that's why I stay by myself, because I got the perfect amount of energy for me, the perfect age. And when the perfect specimen appears, they will be there, and I am sure that his age will be just right. Because as far as it goes, I haven't been able to figure out that recipe for myself. I think maybe I just still like too many kinds of people. I also, whatever. Anyway, there's that. Like, with love, I'm a Libra. I've always had love. I've had all kinds of love. I've had multiple loves at once. And I've had, not that much time by myself. I always liked to be with someone. I feel like even my best self has a person that is just equally pouring, but I just wouldn't sacrifice me as my best self for some like space holder experience, And not that I ever did that on purpose before, but from here, I wouldn't want to waste a moment. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. I love my time. I love your time for you. And yeah. But so this week, I feel like I will get to see lots of things unfolding. And whether they are how I first prefer them to come out or not, I know that it's going to be that next step. I know that this may be like a toggle experience, and I keep practicing the calmness through the bouncing. It kind of, have you ever played like, what's that called where you do that? And it's like bang, 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 pinball. Sometimes when we're navigating a new space, it sort of feels like we don't have a lot of like direction. Our path feels a little like, whoa, 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 But once we're able to get in there and feel through that, we can surf. And wonder which crystal that was. Hello, baby. Oh my. I had a feeling it was this guy. Oh my gosh, let me show you this beautiful, beautifulness. Look at him. So chunky and sharp and shiny. Love it so much. Looks like a piece of ice. The culprit. Kitty, kitty, kitty. I can't remember the name of this quartz. I'll remember it at some point, but yeah, he's real cool. Love it. I act like I don't like it, but I love it. Oh my God, I love that rock too. It's so cool. It's like it broke out. It's a little phallic, but anyway. So Monday is always for mindset. No matter what's happening in the month, year, day, week, whatever, I always have my like schedule to keep my energy well. Oh, I'm so cute. And Monday is all about the mindset. So I know this week is gonna have a lot. It's gonna ask a lot of me. So I'm gonna do everything I can to get myself prepared to withstand a lot. We are going to fuck it up in the best ways, Also, I love this cat. He makes me feel like Elmira. Hi, Trevor. When I was first learning about my intuitive self, and without having anything really in my mind about it before, thanks for the follow. Without knowing from before, oops, I was trying to follow you back. I think I hit the wrong button. I'll make it right. Thanks for the follow. So that was not his best side. So I was thinking about like everything. You know, yesterday was Easter, and I spent some time talking with my littles about how we could learn from Jesus' story as a little bit more like a metaphor, you know, knowing what's right and doing that even if everybody else around us won't. You know, speaking love into existence, you know, caring about community and others and upliftment and empowerment, you know, and then the idea that you could be persecuted, you could be outcast, you could be, you know, crucified. And still, if you're able to hold that within yourself, you will find another way. You will be vindicated from the low density experience that has helped you create the new manifested preference. Just the different Jesus words, you know? And I feel like, you know, I was thinking about, you know, the tomb experience and how much that feels like the womb experience to me. And while, you know, when the story is that he came back from the dead, but in my mind, it's, we're coming back from the womb and we're going to try again. I'm going to come back from the womb and I'm going to try again like a fresh baby. You know, I know children that have old souls. I know I have met children. I know that my children have older souls in them. I can hear them and they are talking. They are there. You can hear when these young people say these big things. And how would they know that if they didn't know it? And they aren't old enough or trained enough or programmed enough or matrixed enough to believe it's not true, because they can just hear it as loud as they hear the horns honking and the birds singing and the water pouring. It's, you know, like it's, I remember at the darkest point of my rock bottom when I was about to, like, you know, go back to the blend. That was the plan. I enjoyed sleep more. I didn't want to wake up. I didn't want to be in this day. Literally didn't want to be in this day. And the difference of me today, now, mind you, this is 10 years later, but it didn't take 10 years to get here. 10 years later, though, I couldn't be that sad if I tried right now. I don't even remember being that sad in my body, and I remember it. Like, I see the evidence. Facebook memories tell me, you know, my appreciation for life every day. I know what happened, and I know what didn't happen. I know how I felt. I know how I feel. And that's something that until you let yourself experience it, it will just sound like blah, 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 blah. Like just nonsense or good for you. And my thing is, baby, good for you too. Eat the food. Eat the food dinner. Like, so yeah, I'm going to practice the mindset today. I'm going to do all the things that the badass version of Nancy would do, because that's who I'm practicing being every day on purpose. I will not live life without intention, because that's like driving without my eyes open. And I don't want to do that. So I won't. I just won't. I'm going to do the best for me. I'm going to think the best for me. I'm going to think well for me. I'm going to think supported, provided for, uplifting, evolutionary thoughts for myself. I'm going to think any moment now, oh, it's about to get even better. And I'm going to know that. I'm going to let myself take a breath when the anxiety builds, because it's a toggle. I'm going to breathe. I'll remember my words. Good as gold, right as rain. White light surrounds me again. Good as gold, right as rain. White light surrounds me again. I know it doesn't rhyme, but it does. Again, rain. I'm laughing at how long it took me to be comfortable with white light because of my personal growth of getting through that for myself. Those who know. Hello, how are you, washing machine expert? Thank you. Yeah. So today I think we're going to find some time in our other space to discuss like the difference of thinking on purpose, the difference of ideas created from Nancy. I'm a Nancy. I prefer loving light, you know, but I am this color and I was raised like pretty racist just by normal. They thought that was normal and it never felt right to me. And I've been unlearning and acknowledging those parts for a long time. So there were moments when hearing the color even would just trigger me into being like, they're the bads. However, I had to let myself realize that some of us can be good, and that includes me. So that would help me to stop condemning a part of myself that I have no control over. You know, I have no control over this. Thank you. I appreciate that. I have no control over that. So I can do the best things with that I can. And that's the shorter version of that. It makes my ass twitch. Anyway, yeah. It's just cool. I think it's just, this is Nancy Land. I've sent you a friend request already. Cool, I will accept that. Yeah. I'm just excited for this day. I know that it feels like, you know, when you're like fishing and you take that net back before you, but that first, like, even before it's like hit the highest point to come back down, I feel like I'm in there. I feel like I'm not a high thrower or a strong thrower. Have a great day. Like I used to play softball, and by play softball, I used to pray that I didn't have to participate in softball so I could still be on the team without running or catching or throwing or hitting. I used to pray to get walked. I used to pray to get the ball not hit to me. I always played right field, of course. And I would just be like, please, God, don't hit it this way. Please, God, don't hit it this way. But I still liked to play. I still liked to be a part of the team. And even though I wasn't doing very good, I did have fun. So even this week, as things feel like that, I'm going to have fun. It's going to be, I'm going to just show up to the ball game, and I'm going to do my best, and I'm going to laugh at myself. I'm going to love myself. I'm going to encourage myself. I'm going to encourage others. I'm going to laugh at others. I'm going to love them too. And it's just going to be fun. Even if I don't win. But I always win. No pressure. No pressure. I just typically am not the one that has ever done anything wrong. And in this case, I don't believe I've done anything wrong. It was just a coincidence of timing. It was just the way that the circumstances unfolded. And honestly, I think the universe is trying to watch my back. So therefore, I am hopeful that the powers that be can decide for me too. You know? It's always interesting when we get to let another person decide for us. Or when we don't have a choice. Sometimes we don't have a choice, you know? So, you know, we don't have control over other people. And that can be a little bit like in the beginning, but it's also kind of cool when you realize I'm only responsible for me, and I am responsible for me. Only an M, everything, only an M for me. And it takes a minute to get there. But once you're here, even when things are falling to the way that you feel like it's not gonna be great, it doesn't even suck. Like, it's just like, okay. All right. Well, okay then. You know? That's literally just how it feels. Which means it will unfold even better, or at least that. At least, okay then. Or better. Because as the hub, as the pourer of my energy, as the liver of my thought experience, liver. All right. I'm going to go do some yoga because clearly this energy needs to move around. Have the best Monday. If you have any questions about this or anything that I share, please feel free to reach out. I'll be sharing a new program package, a new container of learning designed specifically for strengthening our spiritual gifts, for the super woo-woo. This is the no holds back, alchemy for everyone, get in there and make a mess, let your magic come out kind of a thing. So stay tuned for that, me loves. Bye-bye for now.